What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 1-0 podcast. My name is Avery Hill.
I'm Lexi Linderman.
And I'm Lyle Allenstein.
Saturday, Penn State will take on Indiana on Fox at noon. We'll talk a little bit of that. Obviously, I think the big storyline from that game will be the first time since James Franklin's been fired, Penn State is back in Beaver Stadium. Guys, obviously that makes it interim head coach Terry Smith's first game in Beaver Stadium in his new role. What are you expecting from the game? What are you expecting from the atmosphere?
I think it's going to be a much different atmosphere than the one that we saw last time. I think it's just going to be very weird, I guess, to see when they announced, all the stars on the video board to not hear James Franklin's name. But, it's been almost a month now, so we're all used to it at this point. This is just, another new thing in the world of everything that's new. But I'm really intrigued for Terry's first game at Beaver Stadium, obviously. Really good opponent coming to town. I mean, it's kind of a tough task for your first game at home, but I do think the crowd is going to be pretty receptive. I think they're honestly relieved probably that James Franklin's gone. They're probably over it by now. Like I said, it's been a bit, but I think Terry's going to be well received. I talked to Khalil Dings yesterday. I asked him if he thinks it's going to be any different with Terry instead of James, and he said that, yeah, it's going to be a little different. I mean, obviously James has been leading them out into that field for 12 years. They don't know anything different, so he's the only guy who's given them a pregame locker room speech in that stadium. So I think it's just going to be weird for the players a little bit, another thing they're going to have to get used to. But then, they have a really good opponent that they're going to try to beat. Do I think they're going to beat them? No, but they still have a game to play, which is kind of what Khalil Dinkins said. So I think it's just going to be interesting, and I'm intrigued to see how Terry handles the magnitude of it all.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be different. I hope that game day operations team's got that graphic of him up and moving because it's his name that's going to be called last and not James Franklin. But definitely going to be a different experience for him. He kind of hit on that after practice on Wednesday, saying how he's still, obviously I don't want to say he's comfortably found his footing, right? He's a month into being an interim head coach, but the closest thing to it given the situation that he was thrusted into. But, he talked about how the interviews that he does with the media is one thing he's still adjusting with. All the CEO, big picture stuff, dealing with administration, all the little things of team meals, coordinating what kind of color that the coaching staff is going to be wearing at practice. He's got to stay at the team hotel on Friday night. He has not done that in his career. Just little things you got to pay attention to with him that, to us on the outside, it might not seem like much, but when you're running a giant operation that Penn State football is, it's things like that. It'll be interesting to see when he walks out. Is he going to be linking arms with the two offensive linemen on his left, two offensive linemen on his right? Is he going to do the pregame lap that James Franklin did when he went and high-fived Nittanyville? It's just little things that you don't know if it's going to happen. But what I can tell you is I feel like this crowd is going to rally behind him, at least to start. It's maybe when the football team starts playing the actual sport that they came to say, it might not. But I think it'll be a good experience. And obviously, he's been on his coaching staff for 12 years. He was a player, former wide receiver. Avery asked him yesterday about the family. He's got a few more tickets that are being comped due to the interim coach role. He's got a lot of people.
And comp means what again?
Complimentary.
There it is.
As Lexi, we had to tell her yesterday. But
Story at psucollegian.com.
Lexi wrote about it. Yeah, definitely a different experience. I know guys are rallying behind him as they should. It's been made clear through this month that he's taken over. But definitely an experience that he talked about. Obviously, game to play, but he's for sure excited about it.
Yeah, I think the first thing I want to mention is I was going to ask Terry, have you done that introductory video yet? Are we going to hear Terry Smith? Obviously not from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. You're not going to hear that. Obviously, I think it'll be interesting to see what the reception is. I think there's a lot of different things which you guys brought up. Is he going to lock arms? My questions. I have two questions. What is he going to wear to the game? He hasn't, as far as I know, worn a suit to the game. Is he going to do that? Is this the week we see Terry Smith take on that suit? I think it'll be interesting to see what's the selection. Does he have a 1-0 pen? There's a lot of really good questions. My biggest question though, really, which I really should have asked, I just thought about it now. What is he going to do for the Baldy? Did I cook?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Indubitably,
yeah.
Right. So what is he going to do for the Baldy? I think obviously we're asking all these questions because, as far as we know, obviously we've been wrong before. You don't have to look at the predictions on psucollegian.com to find that out. But we've been wrong. We've been on for a few weeks now. But we think, we obviously know what the results of the game are going to be. Number 2, Indiana, obviously. Top defense in the country. Fernando Mendoza, on offensive end, of course. Elijah Surratt. There's Curt Cignetti. Google me, of course. If you Google Curt Cignetti, yeah, that's right. Google Curt Cignetti. I'm not going to say any more about who Curt Cignetti is, but there's a lot of things that people are looking forward to that probably isn't the game. I've honestly, I don't really know what to expect from the atmosphere because, again, last time we saw it, I don't know. I think the best word to describe it was really just toxic. That was an insane environment to be in. It went from 2 weeks before, 2 weeks before being Oregon, and it's everyone is oh yay, Penn State, and white out, and one of the best, or really the best atmosphere that I had seen there. I think the only one I can compare, I think Iowa was good, but I think that was more of results of the game rather than the stakes behind it. Last year, Ohio State being another one. That was an incredible environment, and then it went from that to, yeah, fire James Franklin, get rid of him, get rid of that. Oh, boo! It was an outrageous showing. So I think that'll be interesting. I think we can kind of shift a little bit to what's going to happen on the field, even though we think we know what's going to happen. I know I do. The spread's at 14.5 right now though, which isn't as bad as you expect it to be. My prediction is not that. Lau, you wanted to add on to that?
I just can't believe that's the spread. It should be more points.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But I will say what I'm looking at right now is ESPN Bet, which we now know will be no longer a thing in a month. So maybe that's just them just trying to just give away money. I don't know what the strategy behind that is. I am not an avid bettor. You can always call 1-800-GAMBLER, whatever the thing is, because I don't know, because I'm not addicted to gambling. But but we obviously know how the game's going to end up. I think one of the storylines we can kind of touch on is Liam Clifford. He is playing quarterback now. Obviously, I don't know if it's a full-time change. We don't know. It's looking like right now he'll kind of be rotated in and out. He'll be in these different packages. You saw it against Ohio State. Sometimes he would be a receiver. Sometimes he would motion into playing quarterback. Sometimes he would just motion and get the ball. I mean, guys, what were your impressions on that? And do you think he can make an impact against Indiana on Saturday?
No.
I do not think he can make an impact against Indiana. I think it's really interesting what they're trying to do. And I understand having an emergency quarterback. I fully understand that. The quarterback room has no depth right now. Jackson Smolik, I do not think is going to play this weekend. He was not at practice yesterday, Wednesday, and Terry Smith said he's still kind of week to week. I don't think he's going to be ready to go on Saturday. Beckham Kritzva is dealing with an illness, Terry Smith said yesterday as well. Don't know what his outlook is for Saturday. So then if they can't go, it's just Jack Lambert. And, they wouldn't even declare Jack Lambert the QB3 for the playoffs last year. So, there's just no depth there. So I understand, you look around the room, you're like, okay, Liam Clifford played quarterback in high school a bit. Sure, we'll make him the emergency quarterback. We all know who his brother is. Whatever. I understand the move. What I don't understand is actually, playing him as a quarterback. And I know Andy Konicki loves his two-quarterback system, but it's just really because, I don't really think if you put him under center against Indiana, I don't think the Hoosiers are going to be expecting him to throw the ball, and they shouldn't be. He did throw a pass against Ohio State, but I don't know. I just don't really see that happening much. If it does, I would be shocked if he completed one, too. Khalil Dinkins said yesterday that, he has a nice touch on the ball. He can throw it 20, 25 yards downfield, but he could use some help from his brother, Sean. So, so make of that what you will. But I don't know. I understand the move. I don't think you should really see game action at the quarterback position.
I get having an emergency quarterback, maybe preferably one that actually played quarterback at some point in their lifetime. We've got on the offensive side of the ball, we have Luke Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the running backs, could have been an option. On the defensive side of the ball, there's Chaz Coleman, who I played quarterback till his senior year of high school. There is Dom DeLuca, who led Wyoming Area Valley High School, I believe, to a 3A state championship on an injured ACL. And I'm sure there are actually prominent position players that have seen action.
Key Sweater?
Yeah, former walk-on quarterback who got beat up by Jack Lambert, who, as Lexi just mentioned, has still not been named any form of QB3. Look, we don't know Beckham Kurtz's status for Saturday. I think we're going to lean toward Jackson Smolik being inactive. Obviously, that's speculation. But why not? Jack Lambert's thrown passes in his life. They took him as a walk-on. Liam Clifford threw one pass in high school. And I get it. You look what Syracuse just did when their walk-on quarterback came into the game last week, 4 for 18, a disaster class. With that, what happened to the Orange there?
Against Bill Belichick.
Yeah. But, Andy Cole, like if Andy Kolnicki wants, I don't think he'll be here next year. I don't know where he'll be, if he'll be anywhere. I'm gonna shout out my roommate real quick. We were watching the Bears game when Caleb Williams and Tyson Bagent had that double pass, and he brought up a
Shepherd
great
legend
point.
Tyson Bagent.
Right, he brought up a great point, and he was like, "I think Andy Kolnicki wants to be Ben Johnson so badly," and I'm like, "That's a great point, and he will never be Ben Johnson because he's doing too much." We talk about all these things. Like, you want to go play 10 offensive linemen. I'm going to throw to Trevor Pena behind the line of scrimmage. I'm going to do an end around with Devontae Ross, who's going to toss it to Trevor Pena, who's going to toss it to Ethan Grunkemeyer, down 17 against Ohio State in the middle of the fourth quarter. Like, Liam Clifford's not the answer. We talk about, what's he going to do as an emergency quarterback? Is he capable of doing this? Why don't we focus on getting the vertical pass attack going before we worry about running trick plays while your season has already spiraled, Like, just a thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a spiraling season of bad decisions for Andy Kolnicki. Obviously for Penn State as a whole, given their record, Penn State hasn't won since September 17th, a long, long time. Like, I don't know. Like, there are many comparisons you could throw out there. Like, I don't know. Derrick Henry is probably run. I don't know where I was going with that one, but there are so many things that has happened since then. We've had a government shutdown. The NBA season has started. Derek Queen has hooped.
Yes.
There are a lot of that's crazy. There have been a lot of things that have happened since then. Jacoby Brissett is a starting quarterback right now. Like, I say that to say Penn State is really bad right now, but Andy Kolnicki has not made it any better. I think when you look at the quarterback room as a whole, like, there's a couple points there. One, Jack Lambert, I will say, watched him in practice, and again, like, as Terry said, that wasn't their biggest. Yeah, wearing 15, of course. That was not for Drew Aller, guys. It was Fernando Mendoza. He wears number 15, and not Alberto Mendoza, Fernando. But with Jack Lambert, like, I watched him. I don't know. He was missing. I mean, obviously, if you're missing passes in practice, I don't know what to expect. Like, obviously, we only saw a couple periods. As Terry Smith indicated, I think a big topic of conversation yesterday was how low energy the practice was. You can hear a little more about that in Lyle Allenstein's practice observations on psucollegian.com. psucollegian.com, click the football tab, scroll down just a little bit. It's not that far. You'll see practice observations from the Lyle Allenstein. But I just think that I don't think he was the answer, but I don't think it's Liam Clifford.
There is no answer. Let's be real.
I mean, but if you have a group of guys, because he always wants his out-of-position guys. If you have a group of guys, I'm going to throw on the list. Let's say you want to throw Trevor Pena in there, because I think as a Wildcat guy, he could work.
Tysier Denmark.
Yeah, I was about to say,
but he's got to see the field
Yes,
first.
he has to see the field. So I was going to start in the order of people that played first.
Okay, yeah.
So
go for
I was
it.
going to go Pena. If you want a QB sneak, I'm throwing in Kyron Hudson just because he's so big. But that's not going to happen.
Well, they tried with Luke Reynolds and it didn't work. So.
Exactly. But either way, you can go him. Let's say you throw Luke Reynolds in there because of his experience.
It's a dink in there. Like,
you can throw Dink in there, yes. He's been in the backfield. They had a problem with the running back, so you might want to erase Katron and Nick. Obviously, I think Katron had that false start in there because he didn't really understand how to do the cadence. But looking at the receiver room, Tysier Denmark, you want to try Kobe Howard out there because obviously they don't want to give him the ball any other way. Like, that might work, but I don't think Liam Clifford is even close to the answer. Like, I don't know. If mismanagement is not the word for that, I don't know what to call it. Obviously, he came in. He had a couple of plays, but the other ones, I just don't know what I was looking at. You talk about, I don't even know, it was double end around. Like, I don't even know what to call that play because it was just so bad.
Like, the fact that we're having this conversation right now is just... It's ludicrous.
Like, you guys can see, I'm bamboozled right now. Like, I'm stumbling over words because I'm not understanding what is going on. Like, even you talk about the double end around or whatever that was. Like, I remember watching the play. I'm like, so, like, who was running downfield? I didn't see anybody run downfield. So, what was the plan there?
There was no plan.
Dump it off? I mean, that's been a theme. It's been a reoccurring theme. But, I mean, I don't know. That all just kind of encapsulates everything going on with the Penn State offense. Another guy we can talk about is Kobe Howard, who, as we said, has not been getting on the field. Every single week, they're like, we have to find a way to get Kobe Howard involved, and Tyser Denmark too. But everyone knows Kobe is going to get on the field before Tyser if they're not in together. Kobe's probably a more talented guy from what I've seen. He looked pretty good out there running routes, obviously on air, but looked pretty clean. I mean, he looked more fluid of a route runner than anyone I've kind of seen in that receiver room. I mean, obviously, Trevor Pena is a pretty good route runner, but, like, outside of him, I hadn't really seen anybody that fluid in their routes. I mean, that's, like, when you notice a difference, that's when you know, like, this. Like, come on. Like, you can talk about yards of separation, things like that. But Kobe Howard just hasn't gotten a shot. He played against Iowa and played against Ohio State. Very limited snaps, but yet had the longest catch in both of those games for Penn State, and it's not happening. I mean, Terry Smith said this week is the week that Kobe Howard would do it. I mean, I don't know about that, but, like, maybe he comes in. Maybe he, makes a couple plays. I mean, do y'all think this is the week for Kobe Howard to finally put the world on notice?
The answer to that question is simply, I'll believe it when I see it, right? Like, as when Terry took over, it was one of the first questions he was asked, like, thoughts on getting the young guys, wide receivers involved. Young guys, in this case, really just being Tyser Denmark and Kobe Howard. He's like, yeah, man, we're got to get those guys on the field. We saw him on the field. First game, right? Like, we saw him. Didn't need to bat an eye at that. He was asked again the following week, like, are we going to see an uptick in role? He's like, yes, absolutely. Those guys are playmakers. He was asked about, like, being a quarterbacks previously quarterbacks coach before he took over. Like, your unit went against those guys all the time. He's like, yeah, they're playmakers. They know what to do with the ball in their hands. They're hard workers. They're talented kids. Got to get them on the field. They have not been on the field. Kobe Howard, I think it was 12 snaps through his first two games, despite getting the longest reception each one. Tyser Denmark was less than that. This is me taking a guess, but, like, I think he only saw one snap against Ohio State. I want to say Iowa was maybe like 4, something like that. In that range, whatever, probably like 6 or 7 snaps. But it's just like that guy's just they're not gonna see any meaningful, like, momentum if they're not getting them on the field. If you want to get their confidence up, you put them out there. It's not even a matter of just getting this offense some rhythm. Like, it's a matter of, do you want to retain these guys next year? Because Liam Clifford, I mean, not really a contributor, but Devontae Ross, Kyron Hudson, Trevor Pena, those 4 wide receivers, they're all gone, right? And obviously Kobe and Tyser are next up on the depth chart. You want to get them to stick around, it's important to get those guys snaps. I think Liam Clifford would understand. He's playing quarterback. He's having a great time. Like, I don't think he's losing any sleep over losing some snaps out wide. And if you want to make anything clear that they want to see the field, they made a point yesterday, Wednesday that is, to, while the media was waiting for Terry Smith for his post-practice presser, to work on throwing the ball to each other and work on over-the-shoulder catches. If that doesn't say anything, then I don't know what does.
I just think, like Lyle said, believe it till you see it. I think at this point, like, Kobe Howard's going to burn his red shirt. And it's like, you're already at the point. I mean, you don't know if he's leaving. You don't know if he's staying because you don't know what the new coach is bringing. You don't know what the new coach wants, anything like that. You don't know what the players want. But if you're going to burn Kobe Howard's red shirt, like, you might as well make it meanwhile. Or not meanwhile. What's the word? Worthwhile. I combined meaningful and worthwhile.
That fell by the wayside.
Well, anyway, if you're gonna burn Kobe Howard's red shirt, make it worthwhile. I think it's kind of crazy that Terry Smith has been saying for 2 weeks that we're like, they're gonna get them in the game, they're gonna get Tyser and Kobe in the game, and then, like, Tyser Denmark had 1 snap last week against Ohio State. Like, obviously, I do think Kobe Howard, like we've said, is the better wide receiver, the one with more potential, and like you said, Avery, he's had the longest catch for Penn State in their last two contests. Why can I not talk today? 2 contests, and he's only had 1 catch in both. So it's like you're struggling in the vertical passing game, and you have this wide receiver who has the longest catch in each of your last 2 games. Like, maybe, like, look to that and, like, let's get the vertical passing game going with Kobe Howard. But they're like, it just doesn't seem like they're doing that. If Terry says they're gonna play Kobe this week, I mean, we'll see what happens. I would like to think that Terry stays true to his word, but we honestly have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know. The whole wide receiver usage has been really baffling to me this entire season. Like, all 3 of the transfers have basically done the exact same things. They're all, like, within, like, 20 yards of each other. Devontae Ross is, like, slowly pulling away from the group. But, like, Trevor Pena, Kyron Hudson, like, neither of them have really made much of an impact in Big Ten play. And so, like, why not just, like, let Kobe Howard let it rip. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense. One more thing, though, with Terry, like, saying they're going to play. Since Terry took over for James Franklin, it's been a change of pace in terms of Terry says it how it is. You don't need to read between the lines with what he's saying. He's pretty upfront and honest. And the only thing that I've found that hasn't been completely honest is Tysier and Kobe seeing a significant uptick in snaps. He said they're going to be playing more, which is true, but he hasn't done it to the extent that I thought he would.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of that has to do with the fact that it is kind of hard as an interim head coach to, like, I asked him last week, just what control do you have as an interim head coach? Because there's a lot of stakes with these things. You think about, like, obviously staff changes, which was something obviously John Sarber asked about.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. Staff changes. Well, that was not last
No, you're
week.
good. So I was
that was Monday.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, you're good. You'll bounce back.
Yeah, I'll bounce back.
But with staff changes, I mean, part of that, like, does he have the power? Which is kind of what I'm asking. Like, do you have the power to kind of make these moves? I think there's money that comes into it. Obviously, with buyouts, I don't know exactly what Andy Kotelnicki's contract situation is. Same with Jim Knowles. Obviously, we know he's the highest paid, I think, coordinator in college football. But I don't know, how long that extends out to, whatever, what the numbers look like. Like, there's a lot of things that goes into these things. And I just feel like Tysier and Kobe not playing isn't completely to Terry Smith's control, which, of course, as I don't care if you're interim head coach or if you're head coach, you have to take responsibility for that. I don't think that he should be absolved from blame because he's the interim on guys not playing. If he says they need to play, that means they need to play. But I mean, I think that's kind of a factor to it. But at this point, I think for Penn State, obviously, bowl game is in consideration. If and kind of when Penn State loses to Indiana, they'll have to win out. That'll be taking on a Michigan State team that has lost 6 in a row. That will be taking on a Nebraska team that just lost their QB1 in Dylan Raiola. And then that'll be taking on a Rutgers team who I think has lost 6 of their last 7. Like, I don't know, somewhere around there, somewhere around that range. I'm not exactly sure, but one, that sounds very familiar. I think someone pointed out in my comments, like, that sounds very familiar to Penn State. But that could be an opportunity for them. But other than that, the rest of the season is really about roster retention. We don't know where Terry Smith's going to end up. He could end up staying here. I think if there is a guy that is like, okay, a guy that has some familiarity with the program, or a guy that, would want to do just like James Franklin did and keep a familiar face in there, that keeps Terry Smith. Obviously, if James Franklin wants to come and grab Terry Smith, that's the thing, even though I do think him at a different program is different because he obviously, his connection here, his recruiting here, all of that is at the base of him being a former player. But I also do think, like, he's a coach that can definitely translate to other programs. Obviously, most of his experience is in high school, being an athletic director and a head coach, but I still think, he's been pretty, he would be pretty good anywhere as, probably revert back to a cornerbacks coach, but still a high-ranking assistant on any program in general. But obviously, we think that'll be James Franklin. But again, roster retention is the biggest thing right now. Obviously, Lau, you kind of wrote about that 10 underclassmen that Penn State should retain, which obviously you guys can check out on psucaleason.com. That's psucaleason.com. Click the football tab. You can scroll down, or you can click that search bar because it was like Monday. So you can click that. You can type in either Lau Allenstein, or you can type in 10 underclassmen Penn State must retain. It's obviously a column. I mean, I wanted to get you guys' takes on that. Is there anybody that either you missed or anybody important for Penn State to retain? Who's most important for Penn State to retain? Let's make it easy.
No order. Chaz Coleman, Max Granville, Kobe Howard. Those are the 3. I'm not going to spoil the whole list.
Where can they find it?
psucollegian.com. Guys that I didn't write about that I could do. Alex Olish.
Alex
Alex.
Olish.
Well, I was gonna say Alex Tash next, but Andrew Olish, Alex Tash, Tyke Hayes, 3 freshmen, all bright futures. Tyke Hayes, nephew of Terry Smith. Yeah, that's the right word there. Something to keep in mind.
I would have to say I don't want to spoil Lyle's list either. I think it also kind of depends on who decides to go to the draft or not. Like Tony Rojas and Mari Campbell, like, you got to retain both of them, I feel like. But, of course, they could decide to go to the draft. I would say Tony maybe leans no after missing most of the season with injury, but I don't know. We'll see. So them 2, if they don't declare for the draft.
Vega? Same kind of situation?
Yeah, same kind of situation with Vega.
He's a first round pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
There's
definitely
no
going to the
Yeah.
draft. I'm trying to think. Yvonne Kamaju is a name. Xavier Gilliam, another name
good
for
one.
sure.
Oh, I forgot about it. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Xavier Gilliam, I think, redshirt freshman, really young, bright future, has been rotating in and out with Alonzo Ford at the second D tackle spot. So him as well. I was going to say Andrew Olish as well. Definitely has a bright future. Luke Reynolds, another one. He's kind of having a down year based on what people thought, but I still think he has a bright future. So
Might benefit Penn State because maybe you'll have less suitors.
Mm.
I'm freestyling there.
But yes, those are some guys that I would look to retain.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys kind of covered a lot of it. I mean, I think if you're Penn State, a lot of your focus is not losing literally everything. It's kind of weird to think like a lot of these guys you think are Penn State guys, and you're just not going to see them in a Penn State uniform again. I was just thinking about the fact like Luke Reynolds, like he might go somewhere else. Like
Joey
maybe
Sloffer, Penn
Joey's-
State guy.
Obviously, Joey Sloffer just departed. Like nobody really thought he would be leaving, especially mid-season. I think like if you go back to Luke Reynolds, say he goes to Boston College. Hey, Bill O'Brien comes calling. You can
What's
look
up,
at
Trevor?
maybe he goes to UMass. Obviously, coming. that was good. That was good.
Shout out Trevor Haas, Boston Globe.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe he goes to UMass to play under, well, not directly under, but obviously the new deputy. I don't know if it's deputy executive Thorbjorn, obviously former University of Rhode Island guy. Like there's so many possibilities. I think that's good. I think a lot of your guys that if you're Penn State you're going to run and retain is your star, like everyone from the 2025 class, like the guys. Again, you can talk about Chaz Coleman, Ivan Kamaju. You can look in the safety room and get guys like that. Like there are guys that are your top recruits that you want to keep, and then there's the guys that maybe have one more year. Amari Campbell, I think he has 2 years eligibility if you can get him to stay. I mean, I don't really think he's a high drafted guy right now. I think he needs another year. That could be a guy you get to stay again. Tony Rojas is another guy, but I mean, I think the rest of the season will literally be about roster retention. Penn State is at a point of the season where it's like, just
Show
ball.
goes on.
Yep, show goes on, just ball. Not really sure what we're going to see, but I mean, as they go into Indiana, I mean, you'll just be looking for honestly standout performances to separate guys. Guys will be looking to either
Ryan
go to
Barker,
the draft. Yep, go
Gabe
to the draft
Wosu.
from this or get their bags. I mean, maybe it's Matthew Parker who gets his shot because he needs some film. I wonder if they're going to be getting guys film by the end of the year. Like maybe they know. Like I feel like like Prime is probably going to do something like
Great
that.
move by
Like,
him. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Awesome move. Love
Yeah.
it. So
Shout out
I
Prime.
mean,
I know you're watching.
yeah, we'll see. Like James Franklin wouldn't do it, but maybe Terry Smith would do it for the rest of the season. Well, that's all we have for today. For more coverage, visit us at psucollegian.com or follow us on socials. You can also subscribe to our newsletter for content curated right to your inbox every Friday and Monday. Don't search up Dantes Maniunas on Google. You don't have to do that, psucollegian.com, but we will see you next time.